Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Senior Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad quits Congress. Now, more interestingly, Ghulam Nabi Azad also wrote a resignation letter to Sonia Gandhi. Let's discuss Ghulam Nabi Azad's career. Let's discuss the letter and the letter from the perspective of Ghulam Nabi Azad. And then let's also discuss the letter from the perspective of Congress. So that's our editorial today. Let's get right into the show. Okay, so before we get into the letter and all of that, let us understand who Ghulam Nabi Azad. Now, Ghulam Nabi Azad, the senior Congress leader, served as a leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha from 2014 to 2021. Served as the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir from 2005 to 2008, as well as the Minister of Health and Family Welfare. He served as the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs in the Manmohan Singh government until 27th October 2005, when he was appointed as the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. So, good career, fairly senior Congress leader, worked a lot for Congress and held very important position. He was seen as the face, the Congress face for Jammu and Kashmir. This is Ghulam Nabi Azad. Now, Ghulam Nabi Azad, 2021-22, started feeling alienated, was one of the leaders and founders of this so-called G23 and was quite upset with the Congress working. And he made that abundantly clear also. So it's not that his resignation comes as a surprise, neither to Congress nor to anybody. Okay. Now, what is interesting is the letter that he wrote to Sonia Gandhi, the President of Congress. That letter is very interesting. Now, let's first view the letter from Ghulam Nabi Azad's perspective. Okay, and then we will view the letter from Congress perspective. So let's make this editorial a little interesting. Okay, now he starts by saying, while undoubtedly as the President of Indian National Congress, you, that is Sonia Gandhi, has played a sterling role in the formation of both UPA 1 and UPA 2 governments. That's the first thing he says. He says, however, I'm not going to read the entire letter. I'm going to just read a few highlight points and then we'll discuss on it. He says, however, one of the major reasons for the success was, as president, you heeded wise counsel of senior leaders, that he presumes himself, besides trusting their judgment and delegating powers to them. He said that. Okay, is he wrong in saying this? No, he is not wrong in saying this at all from his perspective. So he is right. It is always better for a leader to trust their senior advisors, their senior colleagues, and also take advice, whether be it politics or be it management. It is always good to give authority with responsibility and also ensure that you hear advice from your senior management. So what he's saying is correct. From his perspective, we will also discuss from the Congress perspective. We'll come to that in the second half of this program. Okay, the second thing he says is, however, unfortunately, the entry of Shri Rahul Gandhi into politics, and particularly after January 2013, when he was appointed as a vice president by you, that is Sonia Gandhi, the entire consultative mechanism which existed earlier was demolished by him. He says after Rahul Gandhi came, no, he is not asking us any advice and all that. He doesn't entertain us. So he demolished the entire structure. This is what he says. Right? Yes, right. Because a lot of leaders have spoken about this. A lot of leaders who were earlier trusted and who were the so-called advisors to Sonia Gandhi were not given much importance by Rahul Gandhi. He had his own bunch of people. So this was not something that Ghulam Nabi Azad, the only person to say this. A lot of other people have said this. Now let's go further. All senior and experienced leaders were sidelined and new coterie of inexperienced sycophants started running the affairs of the party. One of the most glaring example of this immaturity was tearing up of the government ordinance in full glare of the media. that Sri Rahul Gandhi did, which is a fact. He tore an ordinance, and what he says is also correct. The childish behavior completely subverts the authority of the Prime Minister and the Government of India. This one single action, more than anything else, contributed significantly to the defeat of UPA government in 2014. My apologies. Yeah, all that he says is right. Rahul Gandhi tearing that ordinance in a press conference, absolutely childish, juvenile behavior, no doubt about it. Whether that was the single largest reason why they got defeated in 2014 and all was all that I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it was a childish act and there is no question about it. We are still talking from Ghulam Nabi Azad perspective. Okay, now let us go further. Under your stewardship since 2014 and subsequently that of Sri Rahul Gandhi, the INC lost 2 Lok Sabha elections in a humiliating manner. It has lost 39 out of the 9 assembly elections held between 2014 to 2022. Correct? Absolutely correct. They are statistics. How can it be wrong? What he's saying is absolutely correct. So that is right. I mean, under the leadership of Sonia Gandhi and of course, for all practical reasons, Rahul Gandhi was running the party. They lost miserably in 2014 and between 2014 and 2022. Nothing wrong in what he's saying. Worse still, the remote control model that demolished the institutional integrity of the UPA government now gets applied to the Indian National Congress, which you are just a nominal figurehead. All the important decisions are taken by Rahul Gandhi or those who were his security guards and PAs. What he says here also is to a certain extent correct. Because Congress, while whoever the president is, the actual running of Congress is Rahul Gandhi. Anything happens, Rahul Gandhi. Any meetings, Rahul Gandhi. Any public conference, Rahul Gandhi. And they say that his PA and his security guard and all are running him and all. He said, okay, these are all what people say. Now, I don't know whether his PA or his security guards runs him, but Ghulam Nabi Azad says so maybe he knows better. He was close to the party, he was close to the family, so he knows better. So this is what the long and short of what Ghulam Nabi Azad says. He said it's a 5-page letter. I'm just reading a few points out to you because otherwise it will take an hour. This editorial will go for an hour. So I'm taking a few points for you. But broadly what he says is, listen, you know what? Rahul Gandhi cannot lead the party. Sum and substance. Broadly what he says is Rahul Gandhi's advisors, no, Rahul Gandhi's advisors are bad. Chal nahi chalega. Nahi aata hai, immature hai. So they can't run the party. That is sum and substance of what he's saying. Sum and substance of what he's saying is, listen, he's got a coterie. And he's listening only to the coterie. He doesn't listen to the old hands of Congress. And the old hands feel humiliated. When the old hands feel humiliated, where is the experience of Congress? The experience of Congress goes with the old hands. What he's saying is correct. I mean, that was the sum and substance of what he said. These are facts that he said, and his entire letter is broadly based on whatever this particular 5 or 6 points that I just raised in front of you. This was Ghulam Nabi Azad's point of view. Now, let's get into the Congress point of view, the other side. Now, let us talk about the first point he made. The first point, what did he say? He says, the formation of UPA 1 and UPA 2 government was successful because, as president, Sonia Gandhi hid it to the wise counsel of senior leaders besides trusting their judgment and delegating their powers. However, unfortunately, Sri Rahul Gandhi entered into politics, in particularly in 2013, appointed as vice president by you, and the entire consultative management which existed earlier was demolished. So, what he's saying, technically from a Congress point of view, I was in the coterie. When Rahul Gandhi came, his people came into the coterie, I got out. I will try and explain this to you. People in Mumbai will relate to what I am saying. We have these local trains in Mumbai. Local trains, we call it Virar Fast. Local trains, packed, jam-packed local trains. Achha, local trains, when it comes and stops in a station, when a person from the station tries to get into the train, the people already in the train tries and pushes him out. They push him out. They don't allow him to get in. But this guy fights and strives and gets into the train. So once he gets into the train, then he is part of the crowd inside the train. When the train stops in the next station, This man now doesn't allow, he's part of inside, he's insider now. He now doesn't allow the outsider to get into the train. So in the last station, he was the outsider who wanted to be the insider. And in the next station, now he's the insider and he will not let the outsider get in. Same funda here. When Sonia Gandhi listens to her coterie, which included him, it was wise counsel. But when Rahul Gandhi listens to his coterie, stupid advices, juvenile advices, childish advices. So the problem is, till such time that I am in the coterie is good. The moment I am thrown out, coterie is bad. Till such time I advise my leader is good. The moment the leader doesn't take my advice, leader is bad. How fair is that? You decide. Okay. Childish behavior of tearing that ordnance in front of a press. The childish behavior, I also completely agree. That was juvenile of Rahul Gandhi to have done that. Absolutely juvenile. I completely agree to every word he said. It subverts the authority of the Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh. It subverts the authority of the Prime Minister of India. I completely agree to it. Okay, fine. But you know what? You know who are good managers and bad managers? Good managers are people who correct when the organization goes wrong. They correct when the organization goes wrong. And when the organization is going wrong, if there is a wrong done during their tenure, they own up and say, I am equally responsible. Or they quit the moment they know that what they want is not happening, or what their advice is not being taken, or the organization is going in the wrong direction. They quit and they walk out and say, Bhaiya, the organization, it's a government of India. I am a minister, but I don't want to be a minister. To hell with it. I don't want to be senior leader. To hell with it. Because kya hai na? Oh, you subvert the authority of the Prime Minister. You are wrong. So I'm quitting Congress and I'm walking out. 2013. Had Ghulam Nabi Azad said it that day when this gentleman called Rahul Gandhi, juvenile man who tore that ordinance, if Ghulam Nabi Azad would have walked out that day, I would have called Ghulam Nabi Azad possibly one of the best leaders that Congress had. A leader with a spine. But then no. Why? Because he was in power. The party was in power. After that also he became the leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha. So he enjoyed power even after that. When he got out of the coterie, then he remembered, that 2013, this Rahul Gandhi tore that letter. That was very bad, Baba. Very bad. That is the reason why everything went wrong. How fair is that? While I repeat that what Rahul Gandhi did was absolutely incorrect. I stand by that. But, this way, the way Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad said, I thought was very strange. Under your stewardship since 2014, subsequently, that Sri Rahul Gandhi, the INC, lost 2 Lok Sabha elections and in a humiliating manner, and all of that. Lost 39 out of the 19 assembly elections from 2014 and 2022. Correct, very correct. Under their leadership, and they should. I also think that they should be reprimanded for that. They should be asked questions, and if possible, I think they should resign. I think they should step down and say, Galti ho gaya hai, I'm not able to deliver. I also think so. But, pray tell me, before we started this discussion, we said no, that he is the face of Jammu and Kashmir for Congress. What did this man do in Jammu and Kashmir? Congress ka to namo nishan nahi hai. In 2019, Congress had 0 Lok Sabha seat in Jammu and Kashmir. 0 Lok Sabha seat. 2014, 0 Lok Sabha seat. Once upon a time, Congress used to win 2 seats in 2009, 4 seats in 2004, so on and so forth. 0 Lok Sabha seats. So as far as assembly is also concerned, 2014, it had only 12 assembly seats, when in 2002, it had 20 assembly seats. So what was he doing? What was Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad doing? देखो ऐसा है, you are a branch manager. Okay, your branch manager, your sales is 0. Okay, and there is a managing director who is running the entire company. You are running one branch, the managing director is running the entire company. Your sales is 0, dilapidated, finished, gone. Okay, the company is also not doing well. How fair is it when a branch manager sits and says, the managing director is an idiot. See, company ko kidhar duba dala. Arre, tumhara branch ka kya hua bhai? Your branch is equally bad, isn't it? So, what logic is this? So, while putting the blame and calling for the head of the leader and all that because, the party didn't do well is okay. It's right in a way. But, hello, what have you done? So, that question also needs to be answered. If at all, it has to be a fair decision. The last point again, worse still, the remote control model that demolished the institutional integrity of UPA and all that. See, this remote control model of Gandhi's was always there. For crying out loud, Sitaram Kesari, when he was the president of Congress after Rajiv Gandhi's death, they made his life miserable to ensure that Sonia Gandhi comes back to power. Miserable, including this man. They made their life miserable. So these were the people who created this Gandhi phenomena, Gandhi psychophancy, Gandhi coterie, Gandhi whatever you call it, Gandhi awe and this awe and fan club for Gandhi. These were the people who created it. Any competition, any voice, any dissent to the Gandhis, these were the first to kind and pull them down. These were the first to pull them down. तभी नहीं सोचा remote control का. Those days they didn't think that, you can't just be promoting a family. Promote Sitaram Kesari. If Sitaram Kesari wasn't good enough, get somebody else. But no, these people didn't allow that. These people made his life a living hell, ensuring that the Gandhis come back. And then in 2004, they fought the election under the leadership of Sonia Gandhi. Tab sab theek tha. That's fine. Ab problem hai. Why? Because the sum and substance of the problem is, why am I not in the coterie? That is the sum and substance of the problem. Till such time that I am in the coterie, I am able to go and meet Gandhis. Gandhis listen to me. I get power, whether I work or not, whether I deliver or not, whether I win election or not. I get power. I am happy. The day I don't get power, I write 5-page letter saying that this is a problem. This is the long and short of what I could understand from Ghulam Nabi Azad's letter. That being said, Ghulam Nabi Azad is a senior political leader. That being said, Ghulam Nabi Azad has done a lot of good work for Congress. That being said, Ghulam Nabi Azad has been also a fairly good minister during his tenure. That too can't be taken away from him. That's from me tonight. Till I see you next time. That's tomorrow at 10. Namaskar.